services is doing to alleviate that burden. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, the tourism industry on Grand Bahama seeing a significant increase in visitors to the island. This news comes as cruise industry operators are also reporting that their numbers are skyrocketing. Our Jolanda Thompson speaking to President at JAGS International, Senator James Turner, who is optimistic that Grand Bahama's tourism industry could be making a strong comeback. Here's that report.
Tourism numbers continuing to climb on the island of Grand Bahama. This comes as welcome news as the industry has struggled for decades. The month of October is expected to surpass September's high, and get this, the increase should last through December. James Turner, proprietor of JAGS International, says that leading up to Hurricane Ian, Grand Bahama began doing fairly well in the cruise business. He states despite some loss in days due to the storm, the economy picked up swiftly thereafter with even better numbers.
Margaritaville was doing really good during the month of September, and Balearia was holding their own as well in Bimini and Grand Bahama. But as you all would know, during the week of Hurricane Dorian, our largest provider of business to Grand Bahama, Margaritaville, diverted their ships away from Grand Bahama just as a precautionary measure. So we lost about 4 or 5 days. But I gotta tell you that they came back roaring when they came back, because I will tell you that we have not seen a day below 1,100 passengers during the month of September on that ship. And I can tell you, after speaking with their management, they're pleased because we know the month of October should not see one day with less than 1,000 passengers coming specifically to Grand Bahama.
According to Turner, the new focus is now ramping up on the overnight stays.
Now, we don't have the hotel inventory that we'd really like to have, but we do have some hotel inventory. You got Viva, you got Lucaya still somewhat limping along, and you got Pelican Bay that has always been holding their own. So we do have a conversation that ought to be had to drive more overnight stays to Grand Bahama. But in the meantime, those over 1,000 day passengers are great for the cab drivers, they're great for Port Lucaya, they're great for the vendors, and they're certainly going to help our economy.
And despite Hurricane Ian's catastrophic impact, South Floridians are still pursuing their visit to the island. However, he is sending out the stern notice to tourism operating vendors.
Statistically, we were always better in service. Somehow we started to relax. Hurricane Dorian did a little number on us. But this is our time to stand up, raise our shoulders, sling our chest forward, and do what we have always done. This is the time for Grand Bahamians to deliver a service that ought to be unparalleled anywhere in the world, much less the rest of the Bahamas. So as our business return, we got to make sure the quality of our service return.
Turner says that this is the time Grand Bahamians can stand, rise, and shine, and show that Grand Bahama is a jewel in the islands of the Bahamas. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson.
Well, as food insecurity becomes a growing concern for Bahamians nationwide, grocery store owners credit the onset of the global inflation for the rise in the cost of food in stores. Tonight, our Simone Davis speaks to the CEO of AML Foods Limited and owner of Express Food Mart about the cause of inflation and whether or not food security is attainable in the near future. Here's that report.
If the prices are going up everywhere in the world, and they are, the Bahamas, unfortunately, is no different.
According to statistics, at least 1 in every 10 people in the Bahamas live below the poverty line and will experience severe food insecurity at some point in their lives. This, coupled with the impact of Hurricane Dorian, the COVID-19 pandemic, and now the wave of inflation. AML Foods President Gavin Watchhorn says there are many challenges facing the food store industry on Grand Bahama.
In Freeport, initially we had Dorian, to support the community after Dorian. COVID, we had, increases in business on a short period of time, and adapting to that. We've then moved into supply chain challenges and not being able to get product, and now, fighting inflation along with everybody else.
While responding to the concerns of residents who say the cost of food is too high and they can't afford to eat the standard 3 meals per day, Chief Financial Controller at Express Food Mart, Shauna Taylor, says she has seen the struggle of shoppers and sympathize with them because while VAT has decreased on breadbasket items, inflation eliminates that relief.
Inflation is real. A lot of times we don't want to think about it, you don't want to talk about it, but it's real. The average Grand Bahamian spends, let's say, about $100 in the food store a day. A tin of cream now is $1.35 plus VAT. Although VAT has decreased, it does not decrease inflation.
As it stands, the nation has a food import bill of about $1 billion. Watchhorn says the fight for food security will be a long process in the Bahamas, while noting that inflation in grocery stores is unavoidable for many reasons. Taylor echoed those sentiments.
The reality is correcting food security is going to be a long-term process because we have to change what we do, whether that's ramping up agriculture to commercial size, whether it's investing in manufacturing. But as long as we import the goods that we import, we're going to import the inflation and the prices that come with it.
The freighting industry, when you paid, let's say, $500 for a container, it's now triple. Not just double, it's now triple. Gasoline, when that goes up, everything goes up.
Now, during his budget debate back in June, the nation's leader, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, announced that the goal of his administration is to reduce the nation's food imports by 25% by the year 2025, also revealing that the government will invest $100 million into agriculture as they push for food security. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, younger Bahamians still struggling to make the shift to independent living as financial constraints, a slowly rebounding job market, and other economic factors restrict access to homes. In this report, our Raven Davis shares what young people can do to better equip themselves to qualify in this economic climate.
It appears that young people are being shut out of the housing market, and while the dream of home ownership resonates with many, the crushing reality is that changing economics makes the dream more distant than ever before.
I remember in Freeport some homes being built for about $50,000. That is impossible today.
The average housing price starts at about $150 and it goes up. But the 150 houses are basically the lower income homes, and people don't want them. They want to be in more upscale areas, and they can't afford the upscale areas.
A number of variables, including stringent bank demands, a volatile job market, and the need to have a certain level of income impeding the shift to independent living. Carey says unlike in some regions where individuals stay home permanently, the hope is that it does not become a reality for Bahamians, but he posits education as the antidote.
So many of our youngsters are not availing themselves to further education, even at University of the Bahamas. And it's making it very difficult. It will be very difficult for them to derive the level of income in the near term that will be able to place them in a position to afford a home, even what we now call low-cost homes, which are not low-cost by any stretch of the imagination.
Noting that, as with everything else, the price of real estate has gone up when compared to times past. Regrettably, Miller says the closure of Gold Rock exacerbates an already troubling issue.
Because of the import block of Nassau, now that one contractor told me, it's only going to get higher. I feel at some point the government probably needs to step in and try to build subdivisions and try to give people reasonable housing.
Carey, on the other hand, says he does not believe there is more government can do to make home ownership less cost prohibitive.
The only thing that the government can do is it can borrow, which is increasing the country's debt, or it use the taxes that it collects to assist people, and it does do that through its social services programs and others.
The real estate agent says her advice to young people would be to spend money wisely, make it a point to save, and to refrain from accumulating excessive loans. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Now, yesterday, the government made a major announcement in the House of Assembly reaffirming the government's commitment to Bahamian home ownership. The news coming out of Parliament by the Minister of Transport and Housing about the new rent-to-own program under the theme A Place Called Home. The initiative launches on the island of Abaco. And here's a special story to report tonight. Housing remains an issue, particularly for the islands that were impacted by Hurricane Dorian. That is why a humanitarian for the islands of Grand Bahama and Abaco is continuing to assist residents in need. Tonight, he shares with our Jolanda Thompson a new project that is currently underway to provide a safety net to those in need of shelter.
Owner of Subculture Group and founder of Hospitality Helping Hands, Rodney Mayo, expresses that he, along with 350 of his volunteers, have partnered with Margaritaville to supply relief efforts for Bahamians following the passage of Hurricane Dorian. Mayo says post-Dorian, his team was on the ground completing 11 missions, and they were able to assist in the evacuation of about 50 Bahamians. He also reveals that his upcoming project include container homes for residents who have no place to stay.
Yes, we are building and designing container homes, and we set our first one up in Foxtown in Abaco, and we're actually bringing a second one to Grand Bahama and donating that to a family here. And we'd like to expand on that program with the container homes because some people are still don't have their, are still living without their homes but still own the property. And then we're also working with the stray population, mainly in Abaco, because there just hasn't been the relief efforts there since the storm, just because the facilities haven't been rebuilt.
He explains the process of constructing and planting the homes.
350 square feet, and and we convert it into either a 1 or 2 bedroom kind of micro home, and it's kind of like a starter home. And we design these to withstand 200-mile-an-hour winds, so they're one of the few structures that's able to qualify for 200-mile-an-hour winds. They're also movable, so it helps. It checks a lot of the boxes as far as being able to survive a hurricane. And they can also be completely off the grid with a solar system. So if you do lose power, you can still function and still live. And they're also the most economical way, because it's like 1/5 the cost of traditional construction.
When asked the inspiration behind his line of work, he notes that he has great love for his neighbors, the Bahamians.
It's high, and I've kind of always felt like the Bahamas are really part of the United States and our neighbors. And even though it's a separate country, an international country, I still feel like it's as close to driving to Miami from where I am, and just feel like the Bahamians are our neighbors.
The humanitarian says the third container will take about 60 to 90 days to be constructed, adding that his high hope is to use the homes as models, giving the government an idea of a new modernized way of living. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson.
Well, 1 month into the new school year, and officials from the Department of Social Services say that hundreds of uniform applications are still being processed. You may recall that at the beginning of the 2022 academic term, education officials revealed an unusually low count of kids returning to the classroom. Some believed the reason behind the low numbers could be that parents are struggling financially. While tonight, the officer in charge of Social Services in Grand Bahama says since Hurricane Dorian and the global pandemic, the need for uniform assistance from the Social Services Department has grown exponentially. Here's that report.
We have had numerous applications for the uniform assistance, and we began that about the end of July, and we are still doing that to this date.
No one is exempt from hard times, especially in an economy that has been on the rebound for years. During the summer months, every parent is in the hustle and bustle of purchasing uniforms, backpacks, shoes, books, and all other essentials to get their kids ready for school. But this year, it appears that many opted to keep their kids home. Although we are 1 month into the first term, Officer in charge of Social Services, Dorothea Gomez, says they are still processing hundreds of uniform applications.
Up to sometime last week, I had already approved over 360 uniforms, and we still had a few pending. But like I said, they're coming in every day.
But the good news is there is no deadline on the uniform assistance. The officer in charge says they will continue to assist as long as the need exists.
In the past, we did like two tops and a bottom, but like I said, it's also footwear. You're given a certain amount per child, so however you work that out in the store.
And given the urgency, she says the applications are given special priority.
We have been inundated with other things, but once we see the uniforms, we try to get those out as quickly as possible because we know that the children need those to go to school. So once it comes to me, the turnaround time is very quick.
For those needing uniform assistance, you're asked to go to promise.gov.bs and fill out the application by uploading the child's report card and all the relevant information. And when we come back, we give you all the details on the upcoming Conch Cracking Festival. That story and a whole lot more, including sports, when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Come on down. Now. Come on down. Now.
For designer shoes, sandals, accessories, and handbags, visit Steppin' Out, now at 2 locations, Old Sam's Plaza Freeport and top of the hill Mackey Street, Nassau. Steppin' Out, when you want to put your best foot forward. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture presents Gospel Youth Jam, Friday, October 7th, 7:30 p.m. at Calvary Temple Assembly of God on Clive Avenue. Guest speaker, Cammie Hanna of Central Zion Baptist Church.
Mommy, kids eat free at Pizza Hut.
Free? What you talking about?
On Tuesdays and Sundays, you can take me there and eat free any time of the day. $1 per child, and you only have to spend $10 so I could eat free.
That's an amazing deal.
They also have 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas, a 2-liter soda for only $25.85 VAT inclusive.
What?
Call 352-9191.
We're going there now.
Pizza Hut Freeport, for the love of pizza.
Come and see the cabinets and countertops in stock now at Specialty Kitchen and Bath, number 16 Oak Street, phone 688-9661. Don't miss the amazing 25% off National Heroes Day sale at Park and Shop downtown this October 6th, 7th, and 8th, excluding underwear and red tag items.
Hurricane season is here, and the Lucaya Service Company Limited would like to remind you to stay safe and be prepared. In preparation for a storm, we encourage you to 1. Assess your property and all valuable items. 2. Seal your doors and windows and repair any loose siding. 3. Secure propane tanks and small yard items. 4. Check for loose fencing and posts to prevent missiles. 5. Trim trees in advance and regularly to protect your home. Post-hurricane tips. 1. Make note and take advantage of our bulk trash pickup schedule and times. This free one-time post-hurricane service is provided to all Lesco customers and subdivisions in Lucaya. 2. To ensure that your debris is picked up after a storm, please separate all bulk trash in 3 piles: vegetative debris, household appliances, and household furniture. 3. If utility lines are damaged or visible, please contact the appropriate authorities to ensure that lines are de-energized. A team member from the appropriate authority must verify and remove any terminated lines. For more information on bulk trash schedules and hurricane tips, please visit our website and Facebook page. Lucaya, your home, our service. Stay safe and be prepared.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. It's been 3 years since residents and visitors got the chance to experience the honored tradition known as Conch Cracking Festival. However, this coming National Heroes Day holiday, that experience can once again be had as the festival will celebrate its 50th anniversary. Taking place on the McLean's Town Primary School grounds, residents and tourists will once again have the joy of not only having a fun-filled holiday, but also get to see who has the fastest hands in the East. Shane Stubbs reports.
The long-cherished tradition known as the Conch Cracking Festival is back and celebrating 50 years.
Set to take place on National Heroes Day, residents and visitors will once again step up to see who has the best conch-cracking skills in town, while also enjoying a day filled with cultural activity and live entertainment. The Conch-cracking Festival Organizing Committee says this is a major shot in the arm for the community of East Grand Bahama.
We are all excited to celebrate 50 years being the oldest festival in the Bahamas, gearing up to lead towards our 50th independence celebration. This year, it's bittersweet, knowing that we had some tragedies, we had some ups and downs, but we overcome it all.
It's our 50th year of the conch-cracking. It's known all over the world. And we're glad to put it on for the first time. Our community really need it. So we would encourage you guys to come on and experience with us what we haven't experienced in 3 years.
Senator the Honorable James Turner, Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama Kwesi Thompson, the Ministry of Tourism's Coordinator for Niche Markets Eileen Smith, and Deputy Chief Counselor for East Grand Bahama Danielle Bain share they are excited about the festival's return.
But when I look around today and I see how they've cleaned up, how they're decorating, the folks are painting, this is just fantastic.
The President, Gino Thomas, and the Vice President, Candy, they have done a tremendous job.
We recognize the importance of these festivals that highlights an authentically Bahamian experience, home to the longest heritage festival on Grand Bahama.
It's a wonderful sight that we can come back together as a community and continue and grip one another and share the happiness and the joy to see that the community gets together.
Thanks to the efforts of the Ministry of Grand Bahama's beautiful Grand Bahama program, the festival will take place on the grounds of the McLeanstown Primary School, currently undergoing renovations. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Thanks, Shane. Well, keeping up with an evolving global technological environment is a major focus for officials at the Global Conversations Development Center. The group, which partners with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, hosting a one-day workshop at the Beacon School to stimulate the minds of the students in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Students could be seen building structures in an unconventional way. And as President Martha McFall explains, implementing these methods is paramount to the proper development of the minds of these impressionable youth.
The technology and the areas where kids are able to just put out all of their ability and their creativity, especially. If you noticed in the room, you saw where the children were building with the pasta and the mushroom and the marshmallow. The children, their minds were just, they were like, that's what we're going to do? Everyone just gets excited because they're learning in a new way. And when we're looking at having to go to the next level in education, if we remain the way that we were 50 years ago and another 50 years to come, we haven't accomplished anything. As a matter of fact, we would have not done our children justice in learning. We have not brought them up to the level of where the world or the global market is heading. Technology is where it's at.
McFall explaining that the visit to the Beacon School was necessary for inclusion, as vulnerable populations are often left out of these activities. Principal at the Beacon School, T.T. McKenzie Moss, echoing those sentiments and thanks Global Conversations for affording both the teachers and the students an engaging and free workshop.
STEM is so important because it introduces students to science and mathematics, and it brings a real-world experience and a hands-on approach to education. So we are grateful that our kids will get this hands-on approach and a real-life experience where they normally wouldn't get it because, like Ms. McFall said, students in the special schools are normally neglected when it comes to these type of workshops. I hope our teachers will definitely see the importance of providing hands-on learning to these children and the importance of allowing kids to enjoy learning. Learning is about having fun and also gaining knowledge.
Your Thursday Evening Check on Sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. The NBA season is just a few weeks away, but before we go into that, we have some high school volleyball highlights from yesterday. Let's take a look. High school volleyball action continues to heat up At the gym, the defending junior boys champions BMES Warriors took care of business against Jack Haywood Jr. in 2 straight sets, 21-16 and again 21-16. Coach Alan Hall says the Warriors are looking for a repeat.
Fundamentals is the key. That's the secret sauce. Bump, or pass, set, hit. We like to stick to the fundamentals and minimize unforced errors. That's the key.
The stars of Jack Haywood Jr. put on a pretty good fight, but it was just not enough.
I believe it was a good performance. Could have better servants. Couldn't get over the net, but once they have better confidence, they'll be able to do better next time.
Sticking with volleyball on the girls' side, St. George's volleyball team has been impressive so far in the league.
We're thankful to God that we can now get started and have some semblance of something being normal again, so the girls are very excited about that. And obviously looking at all of the competition and what's going on, we can see that even the other schools are excited about just competing again and, just all the camaraderie and the excitement and what have you. So that's what we're excited about,
Switching gears now in hoops, with the NBA season scheduled to begin later this month, Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers will play their second preseason game this Friday when the Pacers travel to New York to take on the Knicks. And finally in sports, Grand Bahamian professional basketball player Willis Mackey Jr. is on the move once again. The 6'8" forward recently signed with Lyonceau Basket Territoire in France. Mackey will be entering his 4th season as a pro. And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
October has been deemed National Youth Month. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has exciting activities scheduled. Be sure to attend and support the youth of our nation.
My name is Brian Sinclair. I'm the hygienist here at Genja Dental. The dental services we offer are cleanings, examinations, x-rays, fillings, and extractions. Patients think that if they don't see a big black hole or a tooth in their mouth, they think everything's okay, but in actuality, it's not. So that's why we emphasize coming to the dentist, getting your regular checkups, your cleanings, just to make sure everything's okay. The whole concept of Genja Dental is to provide dental services in a spa-like atmosphere. And when most patients come here, they'll realize that it doesn't feel and look like a dental office. So therefore, you get rid of a lot of that dental anxiety that you might feel when you come into the facility. Our hours of operations are Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And our contact number is 688-3368.
Hi, I'm Wes. I'd like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Island Bedding has the biggest summer sale going on right now. Special. Comforters, mattress pads, sheets, toppers, and best of all, mattress. 35% off, 45% off, 50% off. Oh my goodness! Special, people.
For all your upholstery needs on furniture, boats, and cars, call Upholstery Plus. Quality and efficient service done right. Phone 688-6209 or 375-6209.
Harvey's Tech Bargains, where Small Plaza carries electronics, games, consoles, Fire Stick, smart TVs, tablets, laptops, accessories, and much more. Phone 602-7657 or 727-6877. Light in the Dark concert with Sweet Emily, backed by the Royal Bahamas Police Force Pop Band. Sunday, October 9th, 6 p.m. at the Star Hotel property in West End. Tickets are $20.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Pam Ferguson celebrating her 30th birthday is our Facebook friend of the day. We thank you for your support. We also want to say a happy birthday going out to Dawn Parker of West End. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed your birthday. And also a happy birthday goes out to Peyton Deal on your 25th birthday. Hope you enjoyed. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the Bahamas lands on an unwanted list. The Education Minister weighs in on the Thelma Gibson debacle. Sand Dollars Progress Report, and soccer players sign in Italy. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
An economic injection for a southern island. Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. $100 million, that six-figure amount to be injected into southern Long Island for the development of an independent cruise port terminal destination, marina, and a luxury residential resort community development. The government signing a heads of agreement this afternoon to get things moving for what will be known as Calypso Cove that will sit in the settlements of Gordon's and Mortimer's. Behind the multi-million-dollar deal, Azul Destinations Limited and Calypso Cove Destinations. Now here's what the development will feature. A 200-bedroom hotel, mega yacht marina facilities, interior pools and lagoons, a recreational lighthouse, food and beverage pavilions, huts, restaurants and retail plaza, a Junkanoo Art Plaza, swimming pig and stingray encounter. You can add to that an entertainment facility and a pier to accommodate a minimum of 2 superposed Panamax ships. Behind the development is Sharif Hassal, who serves as executive chairman of the Azul Destinations, Carlos Torres de Navarra, a 20-year cruise industry exec, and Long Island native attorney Thomas Dean. Now to more news from Bahamas Power and Light, whose Chief Executive Officer, Siobhan Cambridge, sought to bring even more clarity to the company's hedging, the whole process of securing fuel for the country. The CEO was addressing reporters at the office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing, just 2 days after the government announced it had given the electricity giant the green light to hike electricity rates.
Our fuel is hedged. It's currently hedged. It's been hedged from 2020 until now. Hedging in general is a speculative financial tool that is used throughout the industry for various reasons. Whether you're seeking to bring stability to your prices, whether you're seeking to take advantage and leverage a position in the market at a particular time, there are any number of reasons why one may hedge. It just so happened that back in 2020, when the hedge went into place, we had a situation where there was an abundance of supply in the market. Due to the COVID shutdowns, the demand was low, and so the market price of fuel went to an all-time low. That was an ideal time to place a hedge because there was nowhere for the price to go but up. So as far as when you are looking at probabilities, the probability that it would have gone lower was very, very low, and the probability that it would have gone high was very, very realistic.
The BPL CEO maintains that not only was hedging then the ideal time, but that it was the proper thing to do.
We were in the money on the hedge back then, and we continue to be in the money on the hedge. Now, the way the hedge was structured is that because as time goes out, the risk of prices going up increases. As you heard, a hedge consists of a number of small contracts that expire over a period of time. And that's why we make mention of a declining hedge strategy. So within the first year, the plan at the time was to hedge 80% of the volumes that the organization used. In the second year, that dropped by 20% to 60% of the volumes. The third year to 40%, and in the fourth year it would be 20%, and so on. So at that time, BPL made up its mind that its appetite or its ability for the hedge would be set at a certain premium that they were willing to pay per month. And based on that premium remaining steady, that also dictated that the volumes had to go down as you go further out and the risk increase.
Cambridge goes on to express confidence in the reliability of BPL's grid to keep the lights on, adding that recent power outages were due to inclement weather.
We're a flat island. We're prone to lightning strikes. And as luck would have it, when lightning is trying to find its easiest path to ground, the thing that's sticking up out there is our 100-foot pole. And so it's the thing that attracts the lightning. Now, we have protective mechanisms in place that protect against that, such as lightning rods and grounds, lightning arresters and what have you. And we have grounds on our infrastructure that are supposed to reroute the lightning to the ground. We continue to have the nuisance of people stealing the grounds off of our poles, which increases the risk of lightning strikes and the severity of those strikes.
He also shared that at BPL, they do not engage in lifeline work. Rather, he says portions of the electrical system must be shut down or isolated for the work to be carried out.
So as you imagine, we're a 24/7, 365-day-per-year organization, and we do maintenance daily. So every day somewhere on this island, there's an area that's probably going to experience a little outage here and there. But not every outage is a reliability or an availability issue. Our system is an external system. We're pretty much above ground for the most part, and most people would ask the question why you're not underground, and the basic answer to that is the cost of underground infrastructure is 4 times that of overhead infrastructure. So if we were to put infrastructure underground, if you think electricity is expensive now, it would be pretty much unaffordable for most of us.
Meantime, the Office of the Prime Minister again stressing that Bahamas Power and Light Company requested the fuel surcharge increase earlier this year due to the huge leap in global energy crisis following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. While Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis understood that although economic recovery was underway, a great number of Bahamians were still looking for work. In addition to that, gas prices were rising and global inflation was driving prices up across the board, making life even more unaffordable, especially for the unemployed. Now, it's with that in mind that the Prime Minister delayed the initial increase request so as Bahamians would not have to shoulder these burdens simultaneously. Unemployed Bahamians would have an opportunity to find work, coupled with families not having to pay expensive summer electricity bills. The Office of the Prime Minister's statement assures Bahamians that several measures have been implemented to ensure this BPL increase was handled as carefully as possible. For a large majority of BPL customers, this initial increase will again be less than $20 a month. The OPM release reasoned that if the needed increase had been rolled out all at once, as suggested by some, the resulting surge in monthly electrical bills would be far higher. Well, as it now stands, Shell is the only supplier of fuel to Bahamas Power and Light, and while this arrangement has been ongoing for decades, this could soon possibly change, and that according to Public Works and Utilities Minister, the Honorable Alfred Sears.
As we move forward, BPL will be diversifying its fuel sources based on competitive prices so that there can be a more affordable delivery of energy to the Bahamian consumer. And we're not talking about any one country. I mean, one would have to look at any particular time at the global market, the global suppliers, and where the best price product can be obtained.
In other news, with thousands of unemployed Bahamians searching for the right job, it's going to take some time before officials formulate the country's true unemployment rate. Labor Director Robert Farquharson hinting, though, that the labor force survey, which should have been completed last month but was delayed due to the census, should be initiated next January.
I can say that the Inter-American Development Bank did a survey earlier this year, and they estimate the unemployment rate as about 18%. Those are not the official numbers. I know that once those official numbers come back in, I think we'll be in a better position to say what is right.
Now, one thing's for sure, as the Labor Director contends, employers are hiring.
A significant amount of employers in Grand Bahama, in Abaco, in Eleuthera, in Exuma, and in New Providence are hiring in all sectors. The construction sector, the tourism and hospitality sector, it's booming. And so once those numbers come out, hopefully in the first quarter of next year, we'll be in a better position to explain why.
In international relations this evening, the Bahamas ambassador to the United States, His Excellency Wendell Jones, yesterday met with partners of the U.S. law firm Becker and Polikoff, who expressed interest in business opportunities here in the Bahamas. And if you're wondering how reputable this company is, the 2023 edition of the Best Lawyers in America honored 33 Becker attorneys across the firm's practices. Further, for the 8th consecutive year, Becker has earned a Diamond-level Reader's Choice Award from the Florida Community Association. Well, the Organization for Responsible Governance's Executive Director, Matt Aubrey, one of over 1,000 bright-minded individuals and global leaders who recently met in New York to solve some of the world's most pressing issues as part of the 2-day Clinton Global Initiative. The event afforded ORG the opportunity to connect with numerous potential partners interested in assisting with its overall goal of responsible governance back here in the Bahamas. Aubrey says he met with dynamic and innovative leaders from every sector of Latin America and the Caribbean, Africa, South Asia, North America, and Europe. CGI participants shared a dedication to social justice and a commitment to meaningfully engaging people to develop solutions to issues that affect their communities. Now, in addition to Clinton Foundation President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, conference speakers also included the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Queen Rania, Jordan, entertainers Bono and Ashley Judd, and co-founder of the Gates Foundation, Melinda Gates.
This is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. 2 tropical depressions we're looking at are there. TD number 12. This one is in the far eastern Atlantic, some 800 miles to the northwest of the Cabo Verde Island, moving west-northwest at about 15 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds at just around 30 miles per hour, but some slow weakening is expected, and TD 12 could become a remnant low pressure within the next day or so. The second tropical depression, this is number 13, at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The center of this system was moving right along the northern coast of Venezuela, dumping some heavy showers there, by the way, and that will continue. This will also inhibit any kind of development in the short term, but once TD number 13 gets over the warmer waters of the Caribbean Sea within the next day or so, we will see some intensification, and this could become a tropical storm sometime late tomorrow and reaching hurricane intensity just before it reaches Nicaragua, and that will take place sometime either late Saturday night or Sunday morning. Elsewhere in the tropics, tropical cyclone development is not expected over the next 5 days. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
The Bahamas Tonight continues after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Conch fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
Shopping online isn't new to the market, but gaining access to affordable healthcare products at the click of a button is the greatest customer experience. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited gives access to a complete customer journey, from shopping in our retail store on 9th Terrace, Centerville, to shopping online at your convenience from work or from the comfort of your home. Offering delivery and pickup options. Remember, if it's healthcare, it's here. Shop online today.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
In recent weeks, the country has recorded one homicide after another, sprinkled in between armed robberies. And there's absolutely no comfort in knowing the United States has taken note. The U.S. State Department issuing a warning to Americans to exercise increased caution in the Bahamas due to crime. In Nassau, there's the advisory to practice increased vigilance in the over-the-hill area where, quote, gang-on-gang violence has led to a high homicide rate, primarily affecting the local population. It's noted that violent crime like burglaries, armed robberies, and even sexual assaults occur in both tourist and non-tourist areas. For Americans opting to stay at short-term vacation rental properties where there's no security companies, as far as U.S. authorities are concerned, the watchword is vigilance. What's also caught the department's attention are the consistently unregulated activities involving commercial recreational watercraft. There's also the observation that watercraft may be poorly maintained and that some operators may not have safety certifications. It's due to these very concerns that U.S. government personnel are not permitted to use independently operated jet ski rentals on New Providence and Paradise Islands. Now, calls were made to the Foreign Affairs and National Security Ministers for comment on this latest advisory. However, we were unsuccessful up to airtime. Meantime, the government's teamed up with the Turks and Caicos Islands in an effort to better tackle violent organized crimes, and this having recognized the emerging national security threats developing across borders throughout the Caribbean. Now, this is not to say the government is not still focused on its strategic approach to mitigate external factors influencing the country's own crime woes. Officials are, however, confident the joint security missions will lead to an aggressive and robust counteroffensive against organized crimes impacting the two island states. And speaking of crime-fighting strategies, the police need any information you can provide on a shooting incident around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon that's left the man in serious condition in hospital. All authorities know right now is that the victim suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Any further details should be passed on to the police at 911 or 919, the Criminal Investigation Department at 502-9991 or 2, or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. Police also updating the public on Tuesday's robbery at John Shea Convenience Store's Wolf Road location. We can tell you the wounded off-duty police officers in stable condition. A sudden death at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Police sharing that the 43-year-old male was on remand for a causing damage matter when he was found unresponsive in his cell block around 12:20 this morning. He was examined by the department's physician, who confirmed no signs of life. As it stands, foul play is not suspected. Officials have, however, confirmed that an autopsy will be completed to determine the exact cause of death. In the meantime, police investigations continue. In other news, Education Minister, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martins, weighing in on the ongoing industrial action staged by teachers of Thelma Gibson Primary. And this as a direct result of their clash with the school's principal, who allegedly had an altercation with one of the teachers. At a loss in all this, though, the students. Well, the minister is assuring parents that Thelma Gibson Primary is fully functional and students are attending classes under the supervision of teachers. As for the issue itself, the Department of Labor has stepped into the standoff between those teachers and its principal. It's a vexing issue that officials say is on the rise. Drivers leaving the scene of an accident. But as our Lloyd Allen shares in this two-part series, navigating increased traffic is only half of the battle. The other, developing an error-proof plan should you find yourself in this unfortunate predicament.
The global used car industry, a $1.66 trillion market in 2022, sees thousands of cars shipped to places like the Caribbean and Latin America daily. It is estimated that here in the Bahamas, cars represent the second largest investment next to homes. However, for the thousands of motorists, there are real risks, according to Chief Superintendent of the Traffic Department, David Lockhart.
50% of the vehicles on the road today in Nassau are unlicensed, uninsured.
This challenge proving to be a nightmare for motorist Cyrus Miller.
On the 29th of July, I was involved in a traffic accident. I was heading in the northern bound lane. A vehicle, a tractor, head with a 40-foot container was coming in my direction. Unfortunately for me, I could not go because there was an open trench that you see behind me.
Miller says his efforts to avoid an accident were futile, in addition to the other driver fleeing the scene. And this even after speaking with both his and the other driver's insurer.
The bumper cover that needs to be changed. Here, cosmetic.
Police say many drivers are left in similar situations. However, loss adjuster Annette McPhee adds the claims process can vary for a number of reasons.
Some persons deliberately stage accidents. Some persons deliberately arrange for their vehicles to be stolen or burnt.
She says a responsible driver should follow these steps after an accident.
First things first, if you don't have a dash cam, you can come out of the vehicle once you've assess the scene and make sure that no one is hurt. You call the emergency line and report the accident. I would suggest that you take photos of all sides of the vehicle because it's important for insurers to determine what is accident related from what is not accident related. Also take photos of the license plate. Sometimes the front license plate is not the same as the back.
As these details are critical in expediting the claims process, next time, McPhee shares on what motorists should expect and some differences between third-party versus comprehensive insurance. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
We turn our attention now to news on the economic front. Central Bank Governor John Rowles acknowledging that banks have changed their lending habits and that the middle class has been greatly impacted. Rowles suggests the difficult issue is around homeowners' protection and mortgage relief. He adds that a part of enforcing collateral is that the government is also trying to meet social policy objectives as to how defaulted borrowers are impacted.
Going forward, the lending institutions want more certainty and clarity over how they assess the borrowers. So the Credit Bureau will help that. And so banks can feel more confident in terms of the historical basis on which persons would justify their access to credit. What you should be very comforted with is that even though you have a high non-performing loans rate, the banks have, in many cases, already absorbed the loss, so it's 100% provisioning on average, which means that they've taken the hit to profit, and so it's really just being saddled with trying to resolve the assets that they might still have on the balance sheet.
Rowe was at the time addressing a luncheon on banking in the country hosted by the Bahamas think tank, the Central Bank of the Bahamas, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, and the Ministry of Finance. He also gave this update on digital currency, Sand Dollar.
The very important part of development for us was completing the integration with the Automated Clearinghouse, or the ACH, and that work is approximately completed, and we anticipate that over the next few months, the financial institutions will build that development into their proprietary platforms, and we can begin with more push to focus on adoption. And the big part of adoption for us is getting merchants enrolled so people can have outlets to use Sand Dollars.
October ushering in Youth Month, and according to Youth, Sports and Culture Minister, the Honourable Mario Bolle, that's one area the government will certainly invest in. Director of Youth at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Santina Neely, today noting that all Youth Month activities are free.
Under the theme Youth Building a Bold Future, bold being bright, optimistic, labelless, and diverse. And we want each young person to capture this theme, to take ownership of this theme, to make this theme their very own. First up, we have Jesus in the Park that's happening tomorrow night on October 7th at the grounds of BFM. That is a long-standing partnership that we have with Maurice Fox, who we know better as DJ Godson. And so we want you all to come out tomorrow night in person. That's going to be exciting. And then we have one of our partner youth organizations called NU, led by Antonia Lightborn and her team. They are offering a speech competition next Tuesday at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. You can check our Facebook page for ways that you can get young people to sign up. And then we have a very, very special event that's happening on Saturday, October 15th. It's a closed event, but we want the public to be aware that we recognize the need to include the youth of our nation who are wards of the state or are housed in children's homes, and they will be a part of a very special Connect and Paint, not Sip and Paint, but Connect and Paint event.
Well, now time for the weekly poll question. Here's how it works. Listen in for the question and then log on to our website, www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. This week's question, do you think stricter laws and penalties would help curb crime in the Bahamas? Yes or no? The poll's final results will be aired on Friday. That's tomorrow. And as always, thanks for participating. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth. Visit us today. Capital Lumber. Build strong.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before things get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse with my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Conch Fiber Internet Bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road, and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family.
An initiative out of the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute set to get more local produce onto more local plates. This as BAMSI officials recently launched a seedling program aimed at increasing produce yield. It's a program devised to target seedling loss often faced by farmers during the early stages of plant growth. However, with fully grown seedlings, farmers, gardeners, or anyone willing to try their hand can get a head start in the cycle of growing their favorite vegetable. Officials say the idea is to distribute seedlings of those produce items Bahamians consume the most. And so far, the program has been launched on 4 islands.
We're going to use our extension offices in Andros, Eleuthero, Cat Island, and Long Island. Each of those offices have areas where they begin to germinate and cultivate seedlings. It's all to the point where distribution is made. So farmers and gardeners, whether you're registered farmers or not, free of charge, you can get your seedlings from those offices on those particular islands.
BAMSI General Manager Alexis Brennan says the idea is to eventually extend the program to more major islands and encourage a new wave of backyard farmers. He adds that the benefits of such is multifaceted as opposed to consuming a high concentration of imported foods.
We understand that the nutrition content is compromised. The price is extremely high. And it's not very good for you. If we look on the health side, we're talking about diabetes, talking about high blood pressure. All of these things come from processed foods. So the more that we can go into our garden and get back to sweet potato, onion, cassava, and so forth, the better, not only nutritionally, but our health.
Working Women and Breastfeeding, the latest seminar to be hosted by the Bahamas Breastfeeding Association. The ultimate goal of which to get more rights for working mothers, especially those still lactating. Chairman of the Tripartite Council, Sharon Martin, shares an area they hope to change in the law to be in line with ILO Convention 183.
For beyond 12 weeks. But can I tell you something? Convention 183 gives you 14 to 16 weeks. So the Bahamas, our laws are behind. And so when you heard Mr. Farquharson speak, that is what he's referring to. We will have to amend several acts, the Employment Act, the Industrial Relation Act, he said. We will also have to look at the NIB Act because we're only paying 12 weeks right now.
Martin was addressing maternity leave. Wife of the spouse, Mrs. Anne-Marie Davis, also supporting the cause. She, along with the president of the organization, Trinica Hall, stressed the importance of getting more women to breastfeed.
Increase the training of lactation managers. And include infant nutrition in our schools curriculum. And let us promote breast milk as a strong component in the food chain. And let us educate all of us so that we can reduce infant mortality and morbidity.
We did statistics in 2001, and we found that our levels of exclusive breastfeeding is 18.7%. That is too low. And the national recommendation, we should have at least 50 to 60% of our mothers breastfeeding exclusively for the 6 months, and we are not having that. So we really need these mandates, and we really need breastfeeding to be more in the forefront. We need our women, especially our working women, because most Bahamian women in the Bahamas are working women, and they feel they cannot breastfeed exclusively and go to work.
From one worthy cause to another, local animal advocacy organization Barks preparing to host its second annual golf tournament set for December 11th at Paradise Island's Ocean Club. Chairman Laura Kimball says the goal is to raise $100,000, money that will aid in continued efforts to spay and neuter animals, helping to put a dent on strays nationwide through the use of the organization's mobile clinic.
The golf tournament is all about raising money to support this endeavor. So we're going directly into the community. So here we are at Lowe's Wholesale, targeting Nassau Village and helping the people in that community with their dogs and cats. And the mobile clinic itself won't be going onto the family islands soon, but what we do is we do little MASH clinics onto the family islands. So we have been in Hopetown this year, Eleuthera, Andros and Salvador, so we're constantly going around the islands, also helping to spay and neuter and help reduce the unwanted dogs and cats.
Now, telecommunications company Alive has committed to join as a corporate partner as the group enhances its outreach.
This golf tournament is actually one of the main fundraisers that BARC has to fund the actual mobile clinic that they have launched recently. And we're so excited. We believe in organizations like BARC and the efforts that they're doing to reduce the stray animals throughout the Bahamas. And so the cable group of companies continuously committed to our community, believes that by gathering other business partners to sponsor and be a part of the golf tournament here in December, we'll continue to help them achieve their goal of raising $100,000 to continue the great efforts that they're doing right now in the community. This golf tournament is actually one of the main fundraisers that BARC has to fund the actual mobile clinic that they have launched recently. And we're so excited. We believe in organizations like BARC and the efforts that they're doing to reduce the stray animals throughout the Bahamas. And so what the Cable Group of companies committed to our continuous committed to our community believes that by gathering other business partners to sponsor and be a part of the golf tournament here in December, we'll continue to help them achieve their goal of raising $100,000 to continue the great efforts that they're doing right now in the community.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. Cause if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
The team at the Bahamas Agriculture Marine Science Institute, better known as BAMSI, has been working hard this year, working to prove that it's best at BAMSI. President Dr. Arecia Hepburn said while it hasn't been easy, she is proud of the team and their accomplishments thus far.
Having our faculty and staff be open to more professional development was one of the things that we really ensured and pushed. We are now also not only creating those type of linkages, we starting to see more students become interested. We're doing a bigger bout of recruitment.
According to Hepburn, the goal is to extend BAMSI's reach around the world.
I was working on an MOU with FAMU. We're firming that up. We also starting the process with one with Duke University, University of Delaware. There's several organizations that we're now partnering with, Prairie View, A&M, that'll come down. So we really want to ensure that we firm up international linkages, and not only in the Western Hemisphere. We've already started meetings with persons from Ghana because we want our students to have exposure globally.
As students return to the classroom following nearly 2 years on the virtual platform, the team over at BAMSI is looking to improve the educational experience.
We're looking at starting more short courses so persons get a snapshot and learn some of the skills that they may want to know about. They might want to know more about climate change and not really be prepared to take a 2-year degree. And then hopefully maybe in year 2 or 3 we could start looking at maybe becoming a 4-year organization. I mean, we're taking baby steps towards that goal, but that'll be ideal because we want everybody to know it's best at BAMSI.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Georgio Bain.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Solomon's, we're all about family. We believe in quality brands and giving you what you need and more for every occasion. Our store is filled with items for the entire family, celebrating everyday living for you and those you love. Shopping is now more rewarding than ever with My Solomon Smart Rewards. Shop Solomon's because family matters.
Opa!
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Welcome to the Global Learning Exchange. We're partnering with BIBT to bring opportunities for higher education to the Bahamas. Earn your degree from a university in the U.S. right here at home. Visit us online to learn more.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
A 53-year-old Exuma man has some serious questions to answer after drugs was found on his property. Intelligence led officers to his Farmers Key home around 4 p.m. Tuesday, where they discovered 2 pounds of suspected marijuana and 18 suspected marijuana plants. The drugs, estimated at some $2,100, were confiscated. As for the suspect, he's been arrested and is assisting police with their investigations. Crossing over to Eleuthera, and police there are questioning a 23-year-old Alice Street resident after he was found with a number of watches reportedly stolen from a business on Dunmore Street, Harbor Island. Preliminary reports are that officers executed a search warrant on the suspect's home around noon yesterday following a complaint of a shop breaking. Investigations are ongoing. Well, Exuma to hear from its Member of Parliament and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honourable Chester Cooper, who will deliver the keynote address at that island's 16th Business Outlook set for October 20th. Other speakers include the Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, the Honourable Clay Sweeting, Vice President of Medical Affairs within the Doctors Hospital Health System, Dr. James Inferenta. Inferenta will be speaking to the management of trauma and medical emergencies in the Family Islands. The BBO series, now in its 31st year, focuses on the key sectors of the local economy, namely tourism and hospitality, banking, finance, utilities, agriculture, transportation, communication, and health. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to our chief meteorologist, Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. We are under mostly cloudy skies, temperature at 85 degrees, a relative humidity 66%, winds out of the east at 15 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,016.0 millibars, that's 30.00 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 83 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Toll Key in Abaco, Marsh Harbor, Abaco. 84 degrees, Berry Islands, 81. Allenstown, Bimini, 83 degrees. Harbor Island, they have a temperature of 85, and that extends right into Roxanne, Eleuthera. Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space out Andros reporting 84 degrees, 83 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 86 in Allenstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 87 degrees, 88 in Rygat Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 84, Acklands, 84, also Matthew Town, Inago at 84 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builder Small, home of FYP, the Towel King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas tonight through Friday, northeast to east winds, so speeds going to be around 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, so caution flags are in place for boaters throughout the 700 islands. Low tide takes place at 19 minutes past midnight. You can expect a high tide at 6:22 tomorrow morning. And then on Saturday, for all areas, the winds remain out of the northeast, but increasing in speeds, 15 to 20 knots, wave heights building 4 to 7 feet, meaning we will maintain those caution flags throughout the 700 hours. High tide will take place at 7:13. This will be Saturday morning, with a low tide at 1:20 in the afternoon. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Give them peace and love, and everything will be all right.
for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
My culture, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
I'm Corval Pfeiffer. BTC's newly minted CEO, Samir Bhatti, is embarking on a nationwide tour. He's doing this to meet face-to-face with our team members around the country to get a first-hand assessment of work being done and to hear customers' concerns.
So this week is an important week for us as, you know, our CEO, Samir, gets on the ground in many of these different family islands, but not only doing it alone or with one or two members of his team, but taking the entire senior leadership team with him, along with our union partners. I think Samir's biggest thing in this discussion, decision to really bring this team on the ground is I want everyone to hear what I'm hearing at the same time. I want us to be able to walk away from this trip and these respective trips looking at what strategic decisions we need to make and how quickly we can make these decisions.
The BCPOU has long been asking the executives of BTC to partner, to be real partners in basically everything we do because we serve the same people. And so this, I see, is a very important step towards building that partnership relationship or establishing it and then solidifying it so that our members could see that we are unified.
When we speak about partnership and being able to travel with the new CEO, it gives us an opportunity to understand what is actually happening in all the islands and participate in the interaction with the staff members.
The progress made in Abaco is both encouraging and impressive. BTC's efforts are ongoing there because we are committed to building Abaco back better and stronger. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pfeiffer. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Chartered accountant Audric Smith, a graduate of South Andrews High School, continued his philanthropic outreach to young Bahamians by awarding 5 scholarships on August 25th. The Ohio State University grad, who now lives in New Jersey, named the scholarship fund in honor of his parents, former teachers Rudolph and Martha Smith. At a ceremony at the Ivy Dumont building, Martha Smith tearfully told Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, Glenys Anna Martin, and State Minister Zane Lightburn and other education officials of how proud she is of her son Audric, who used his own money to make possible a college education for young Bahamians like him. His offer also includes mentoring.
I think this scholarship really was not just named in their honor. I think it's a tribute and a testimony to them because I believe, and I've met with him also, but I believe he was inspired by his parents who moved through the country teaching children throughout this nation. And I believe through them, he saw the passion, the outreach, and the appetite for extending learning for children.
The awardees each received a $2,500 check. They include Eric Williams of St. George's High School, Grand Bahama, Rakisha Nemore, Central Andros High School, Michael O'Newbold, C.R. Walker Senior High, Brianna Capron, Anatole Rogers High School, and Tazaria Thompson of Central Andros High School. Last year, 3 scholarships were awarded. For Ed Talk, I'm Ron Aubrey.
The pandemic has been not so kind to so many people in our community. And when we think about how we fared coming off the pandemic, we're trying to find meaningful ways to continue to give back.
So with the Together platform, it allows people to be able to give back, to make small donation, whether it's $20 or whatever you can give, to be able to give and to help those people who are in need.
A house
household name carries a lot of approval. And when you're shopping for household, you need a household name. For 50 years, Bahamas Welding and Fire has been a household name in outdoor grills and kitchen appliances. Need to beautify that yard space for your grill? BWF has it covered. For the industrial worker, you can find a complete line of tools and safety equipment. For the welder of any level or budget, you can find the right machinery to power everything. There's no shortage on power with a wide array of generators. And safety is everyone's responsibility. Find everything needed to protect everyone on the worksite. Over 40,000 square feet of shopping space in a convenient location. Bahamas Welding and Fire. We're more than just our name. Located number 13 Wilton Street.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Thursday. I'm Charles Fisher. Two young Bahamians getting a chance at a dream job in soccer. Inking their name on the dotted line, Christopher Raming Jr. and Ricardo McPhee fulfilling a childhood dream to play professional soccer in Italy with Castellenta Calcio.
Chris, after having a great season in England, his coach recommended him to an agent, and the agent took him to Italy for a few trials. After making those trials, he landed this contract, and within coming to the team, they asked him for a striker, and he recommended me, and I came in for a trial, and then we both were signed. I came from Sweden Division III club, so now we're here. This is our first month. We signed for the full season. Last season, the team finished mid-table, so this season they brought in some reinforcements because they felt like they should have won the league.
This not the first time the duo will be teammates.
Both Chris and I started playing football at the age of 5 years old for United FC. Chris ended his career in the Bahamas at Warriors FC. Then we both went to America to finish high school there. After, we went to England to separate all academies. And then we played on the national team together during that time. And then now we're here. We both ended up at the same team.
New team, new country, new lifestyle. That means lots of adjustments.
It hasn't been too hard for me and Ricky because we both played in England, so we've both played at a level in England where it was very physically and technically demanding for players. So we're pretty used to playing at a decently high level, but adjusting to life here is somewhat difficult for us because of the language barrier. So we struggle with the language a bit, trying to learn it, picking up a few words here and there, but mostly what we learn comes through football.
McPhee, a center forward, played in his first game Sunday that ended in a scoreless draw. Raming just finished his paperwork and will play this coming weekend. Freedom Baptist Academy now at a new facility on Montrose Avenue. Coach Josiah Major getting ready to bounce over to Abaco for the Agape Christian Academy Tip-Off Classic. That will go down October 27th through the 29th. And they want to do more than play basketball.
We'll be carrying our junior boys and senior boys teams over there. So we want to do some charity work for them, get them involved in the community and working with the community and Abaco to get some things done because, the economy is still rough over there. And we just want to give back to the economy of Abaco because what they've been through the last 3 years and they still recovering.
High school sports back in full mode and major all hype.
We actually been active for the past 2 years during the corona. We just had strict COVID protocol. So the kids are sharp as far as basketball, volleyball. We did all that in 2021 and late 2020. We did all that, so we ready.
Bahamians hooking up at NBA preseason action last night. Buddy Hield hitting the court with all that trade rumors surrounding him going to the Los Angeles Lakers heating up. He had 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals in 20 minutes of play as the Indiana Pacers bounced Kai Jones and the Charlotte Hornets 122-97. Kai with just 1 point and 2 rebounds in 8 minutes of play. The Pacers play again Friday against the New York Knicks. And will the trade be done by then? We'll all have to sit back, wait, and see. I know lots of Bahamians anticipating Buddy going to L.A. Hope he does, myself, while Charlotte will be in Boston on Friday. It's Thursday night football in the NFL, and Bahamians can tune in tonight at 8:15 and watch Michael Strawn and the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Denver Broncos. Colts come in at 1 win, 2 loss, and a draw on the season. And for Strawn, he has 3 catches for 59 yards. Hopefully he can get in the end zone tonight for his first NFL touchdown. That's going to do it for Sports Thursday. I'm Charles Fisher. Thanks for watching.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Awesomely, this is a beautiful experience. I can't lie. This is my first time doing this sort of charity work, and I mean, it feels good to help out, you know? There's a can drive coming up, and other initiatives are part of the Giving a Helping Hand campaign, and I encourage anyone that's willing to lend their support in any way, shape, or form to come through and give of your time.
Our future is here. And no matter the result, we must come together. Together, we will innovate. Together, we will lead the way. Our future belongs to us. Happy Election Day, my fellow Bahamians. Leading the Bahamas in home improvement since 1973.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
Find your favorites on special this week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Cardinal Evaporated Milk, 14 ounce, $1.19. Best Value Whole Kernel Corn, 15 ounce, $1.09. Carter Bath Tissue, 4-pack, $2.49. Chicken Leg Quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.19 per pound. Bar S Classic or Chicken Franks, 12 ounce, 2 for $3. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as